Have you ever dreamed of traveling to a land untouched by time? A place where golden deserts stretch endlessly, where sacred pyramids rise from the sand, and where rivers like the Nile pulse with life in the heart of Africa? Welcome to Sudan, a country of hidden wonders, ancient civilizations, and landscapes so breathtaking they will leave you speechless. From the silent deserts of the north to the vibrant coral reefs of the Red Sea, from sacred mountains to wild savannas teeming with wildlife, Sudan is a journey unlike any other. Stay with us as we explore the most incredible places this mysterious country has to offer and discover why Sudan is one of the last great frontiers of adventure. What if two ancient rivers could tell the story of an entire continent? A place where history flows in every direction and where civilizations rose and fell along the banks of moving water. This is Khartoum, the heart of Sudan, where the Blue Nile and White Nile meet and begin their legendary journey north. Khartoum is not just a city, it is a meeting point of worlds, cultures, and centuries. Here, the Blue Nile arrives from the Ethiopian highlands, carrying dark, rich waters. The White Nile comes from deep within Central Africa, slow and calm, stretching across thousands of kilometers. When they meet, they create the Nile River, one of the most important rivers in human history. Standing at the confluence of the two Niles is a powerful experience. You can see the waters merge, each with its own color and personality. For thousands of years, these rivers have shaped empires, supported agriculture, and guided travelers across deserts. The story of Egypt, Nubia, and many African civilizations begins right here, where these rivers join. Khartoum itself is a city of contrasts. Modern buildings rise alongside traditional markets and quiet neighborhoods. The streets are filled with the rhythm of daily life, vendors selling spices, textiles, and handmade crafts, children playing near the riverbanks, and fishermen casting their nets into the flowing water. The city feels alive, yet deeply connected to its past. The markets of Khartoum are vibrant and full of energy. In places like Omdurman Souk, you can find everything from colorful fabrics and jewelry to traditional Sudanese coffee and incense. The air is filled with the scent of spices and the sound of bargaining voices. These markets are more than places to shop. They are social centers where stories, news, and traditions are shared. Mosques and churches stand across the city, reflecting Khartoum's diverse cultural and religious heritage. The call to prayer echoes over the rooftops, blending with the sounds of traffic and daily life. At sunset, the sky turns golden, and the city takes on a calm, reflective mood, as if pausing to remember its long history. Khartoum has also played a major role in modern history. It was once a center of colonial administration and later became the capital of an independent Sudan. Museums in the city hold ancient artifacts, statues, and inscriptions from Nubian and Kushite civilizations, reminding visitors that Sudan's history stretches back thousands of years. The Nile is always present. Along its banks, people gather to relax, talk, and watch the water flow. Small boats move quietly across the river, carrying passengers and goods. Palm trees line the shores, creating a peaceful contrast to the busy city streets. The river is not just a source of water, it is the soul of Khartoum. As evening approaches, the city transforms. Lights reflect on the surface of the Nile, and the air becomes cooler. Families gather outdoors, cafes fill with conversation, and the city slows down. The rivers continue their journey north, carrying with them the stories of the people who live along their banks. Khartoum is a place where the past and present meet, just like the two Niles. It is a city shaped by water, history, and resilience. Standing here, at the birthplace of the Nile, you can feel the weight of time and the flow of civilization itself. This is not just the beginning of Sudan's story. It is the beginning of a journey across one of the most ancient and mysterious lands on Earth. What if the world's most mysterious pyramids were not in Egypt, but hidden deep in the African desert? A place where ancient kings ruled, armies marched, and civilizations flourished long before modern history books began. This is Meroë, the land of the Nubian pyramids, where Africa's forgotten empire still stands in silence beneath the desert sky. Meroë was once the capital of the powerful kingdom of Kush, a civilization that rivaled Egypt and controlled vast trade routes across Africa. Today, its pyramids rise from the sand like silent guardians, scattered across a wide desert plain. Unlike the famous pyramids of Giza, these pyramids are smaller, steeper, and more numerous, giving the landscape a unique and almost otherworldly appearance. As you approach the pyramids, the desert stretches endlessly in every direction. The sand is golden and fine, shaped by centuries of wind. The pyramids stand in clusters, their sharp angles cutting into the sky. Some are well preserved, while others are broken and worn by time, their stones slowly returning to the earth. Each one was built as a tomb for a king, queen, or noble, filled with treasures, inscriptions, and stories of a powerful past. The kingdom of Kush was deeply connected to ancient Egypt, but it was also distinctly African. Kushite kings once ruled Egypt itself, forming what historians call the 25th dynasty. They built temples, fought wars, and left their mark on history. Meroë became a center of iron production, trade, and culture, linking sub-Saharan Africa with the Mediterranean world. Walking among the pyramids of Meroë feels like stepping into a forgotten chapter of human history. There are no crowds, no large cities nearby, only silence and sand. The desert wind moves softly across the stones, and the sky feels endless. It is easy to imagine ancient processions, rituals, and ceremonies taking place here thousands of years ago. Carvings and inscriptions can still be seen on some of the pyramids and temples. These symbols tell stories of gods, kings, and daily life in the ancient kingdom. Nearby ruins include temples, palaces, and workshops, revealing that Meroë was once a thriving city, full of people, trade, and innovation. The location of Meroë was strategic. It sat along trade routes that connected Central Africa with the Nile and the Red Sea. Gold, ivory, animals, and other goods passed through this region, making the kingdom wealthy and powerful. The Kushites were skilled builders, warriors, and traders, shaping a civilization that lasted for centuries. As the sun moves across the sky, the pyramids change color. In the morning, they glow softly in pale gold. At midday, they stand stark and bright against the blue sky. And at sunset, they turn deep orange and red, casting long shadows across the desert. The scene feels cinematic, timeless, and deeply emotional. At night, the desert becomes silent and vast. With almost no light pollution, the stars appear incredibly bright. The Milky Way stretches across the sky, and the pyramids stand beneath it like ancient markers of human ambition and belief. It is a moment that makes you feel connected to people who lived thousands of years before you. Meroë is not just a historical site. It is a reminder that Africa was home to great civilizations long before modern nations existed. It challenges the idea that history belongs to only a few places. Here, in the Sudanese desert, you can see proof that powerful empires once rose, thrived, and left their mark on the world. This is the land of forgotten kings, hidden pyramids, and untold stories. Meroë is one of the world's greatest archaeological treasures, and yet it remains one of the least visited. A place where mystery still lives, where silence speaks, and where the desert guards the legacy of an ancient African empire. And as you stand among these pyramids, you realize something powerful. History is not always where we expect it. Sometimes, it waits quietly in the sand, ready to be rediscovered. What if the loudest sound you could hear was silence? A place where the horizon never ends, where the sun dominates the sky, and where the land feels untouched by time. This is the Bayuda Desert, one of Sudan's most remote and mysterious landscapes, where nature speaks in sand, stone, and endless space. The Bayuda Desert lies between a great bend of the Nile and the eastern deserts of Sudan. It is not just sand dunes. It is a vast volcanic desert filled with black rocks, ancient lava fields, and wide open plains that stretch as far as the eye can see. This is a land shaped by fire and wind, a place where the earth shows its raw power. As you enter the Bayuda Desert, the world changes. Green landscapes disappear, and the land becomes dry, rugged, and powerful. The ground is covered with dark volcanic stones, creating a striking contrast with the bright sky. In some areas, sand dunes rise and fall like frozen waves, moving slowly with the wind over centuries. The heat here is intense. During the day, the sun burns brightly, and the air shimmers above the ground. At night, the temperature drops, and the desert becomes quiet and cool. The sky fills with stars, brighter than almost anywhere else on Earth. With no cities nearby, the Milky Way stretches clearly across the darkness, creating a breathtaking natural ceiling. For thousands of years, the Bayuda Desert has been a land of travelers and traders. Ancient caravans crossed this harsh terrain, carrying gold, salt, ivory, and goods between Africa and the Nile Valley. The desert was dangerous, but it was also a vital route that connected civilizations. Nomadic tribes learned to survive here, reading the land, the wind, and the stars to find their way. Despite its harshness, life exists in the Bayuda Desert. Small plants grow in hidden pockets where water is available. Animals like desert foxes, reptiles, and birds have adapted to survive in this extreme environment. Nomadic people still move across the desert with their livestock, following ancient traditions passed down through generations. The landscape feels ancient and untouched. There are no skyscrapers, no highways, no crowds, just land, sky, and silence. Standing here, you feel how small you are and how vast the world truly is. The desert has a way of slowing time, of making you reflect on everything around you. The volcanic mountains of the Bayuda rise suddenly from the flat plains. These dark hills were formed by eruptions thousands of years ago, and they now stand like silent monuments. From their peaks, you can see endless desert in every direction, a sea of sand and stone that seems to go on forever. As the sun sets, the Bayuda Desert transforms. The sky turns orange, pink, and purple. The rocks glow in warm colors, and long shadows stretch across the land. The desert becomes peaceful, almost magical. The wind softens, and the world feels still, as if the earth itself is resting. The Bayuda Desert is not a place for comfort. It is a place for discovery. It challenges you, humbles you, and reminds you how powerful nature can be. It is one of Sudan's most dramatic and least explored regions, a true hidden wonder of Africa. Here, there are no distractions, no noise, no crowds, just you and the vastness of the desert. And in that silence, you understand why deserts have inspired explorers, poets, and travelers for thousands of years. The Bayuda Desert is not just empty land. It is a living landscape, shaped by time, fire, and wind. It holds stories of ancient travelers, lost caravans, and people who learned to survive in one of the world's toughest environments. And as you look out over the endless horizon, you realize something powerful. Sometimes, the most beautiful places on Earth are the ones where nothing else exists. What if a single mountain could be considered sacred for thousands of years? A place where kings believed gods lived, where temples were built in the desert, and where an entire civilization centered its power around a towering rock. This is Jebel Barkal, the holy mountain of Nubia, one of Sudan's most spiritual and mysterious landmarks. Jebel Barkal rises dramatically from the desert, near the Nile, a tall sandstone mountain that stands out against the flat landscape. From a distance, it looks like a natural monument placed in the middle of the desert. For ancient Nubians and Egyptians, this mountain was not just a rock. It was sacred. They believed it was the dwelling place of powerful gods and a symbol of divine authority. At the base of the mountain lie the ruins of Napata, one of the ancient capitals of the kingdom of Kush. This was a center of religion, politics, and culture thousands of years ago. Temples, palaces, and pyramids once surrounded this mountain, creating a city that rivaled other great centers of the ancient world. Today, the remains of these structures still stand, telling stories of kings, priests, and rituals long forgotten. The temples near Jebel Barkal were dedicated to gods such as Amun, one of the most important deities in ancient Egyptian and Nubian religion. Priests performed ceremonies here. Kings came to seek divine approval, and people traveled long distances to worship. The mountain itself was seen as a natural pillar connecting the earth and the heavens, a sacred point where humans could communicate with the divine. Walking among the ruins of Jebel Barkal feels like stepping into a lost world. Stone columns lie scattered across the sand. Walls carved with hieroglyphs and symbols still stand, showing scenes of gods, kings, and offerings. Pyramids rise nearby, smaller than those in Egypt, but filled with history and meaning. Every stone seems to hold a memory. The location of Jebel Barkal is powerful. It sits beside the Nile, surrounded by desert, creating a dramatic contrast between life and emptiness. The river brings water, agriculture, and life, while the desert represents isolation and eternity. This combination made the site deeply spiritual for ancient people, a place where nature itself felt sacred. Climbing Jebel Barkal is an unforgettable experience. From the top, you can see the Nile winding through green fields, villages, and palm trees. Beyond the river, the desert stretches endlessly. The view shows why this place was chosen as a sacred center. It feels like standing between two worlds, fertile life and eternal desert. As the sun moves across the sky, the mountain changes color. In the morning, it glows softly in pale gold. At midday, it stands bright and strong against the blue sky. At sunset, it turns deep red and orange, casting long shadows across the ruins. The scene feels cinematic, ancient, and timeless. Jebel Barkal was also a symbol of power. Kushite kings built pyramids nearby to show their connection to the gods. They believed that ruling from this sacred place gave them divine legitimacy. For centuries, this region was a center of African civilization, influencing Egypt and the Mediterranean world. Despite its importance, Jebel Barkal remains one of the world's lesser-known ancient sites. There are no massive crowds, no modern cities surrounding it. Instead, there is silence, sand, and history. This makes visiting the site feel personal, almost like discovering a secret that the world has forgotten. The people who live near Jebel Barkal today continue to respect the land. Villages sit along the Nile, and daily life continues much as it has for generations. Boats move slowly on the river, children play near the water, and farmers tend their fields. The past and present exist side by side, connected by the same river and the same mountain. At night, the desert sky becomes filled with stars. With almost no artificial light, the stars appear incredibly bright. The mountain stands dark against the sky, a silent guardian of ancient stories. It is easy to imagine priests and kings looking up at the same stars thousands of years ago, believing the gods were watching. Jebel Barkal is not just a mountain. It is a symbol of belief, power, and history. It represents a civilization that saw nature as sacred and built its identity around the land. It is a reminder that Africa's ancient history is rich, deep, and full of wonders that many people have never seen. Standing here, surrounded by ruins, desert, and river, you feel connected to something ancient and powerful. Jebel Barkal is a place where history, spirituality, and nature meet. A holy mountain in the heart of the desert, still standing, still silent, still full of stories waiting to be told. Imagine diving into waters so clear that it feels like you are floating in the sky. Below you, coral gardens stretch endlessly, glowing in shades of blue, purple, and gold. Schools of fish move like living clouds, and giant sea creatures glide silently through the deep. This is not the Maldives or the Great Barrier Reef. This is Sudan's hidden underwater paradise. Welcome to Sanganeb National Park, one of the most untouched marine wonders on Earth. Sanganeb lies in the Red Sea, far from crowded tourist hotspots. It is a remote coral atoll, surrounded by deep blue water, protected as a national marine park. Because so few people visit, the ecosystem here remains almost completely pure. For divers and ocean explorers, this place feels like traveling back in time before mass tourism touched the seas. As you approach the atoll, the lighthouse appears on the horizon, standing like a lonely guardian of the reef. From above, Sanganeb looks like a perfect ring of coral, with turquoise water on the inside and deep blue ocean on the outside. The contrast is breathtaking. It is one of the most beautiful natural formations in the Red Sea. Underwater, the world transforms into a living masterpiece. Massive coral walls drop straight into the depths, covered with colorful reef life. You will see clownfish, butterfly fish, and giant groupers moving through coral tunnels. Sea turtles glide slowly past divers, while reef sharks patrol the edges of the atoll. If you are lucky, you might even spot dolphins or hammerhead sharks in the deeper waters. The coral here is some of the healthiest in the world. Because of limited human activity, the reefs are vibrant and alive, with almost no damage. Soft corals wave gently in the currents, while hard corals form giant structures that took thousands of years to grow. It is a fragile ecosystem, and Sudan has taken steps to protect it as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. For divers, Sanganeb is considered a dream destination. The visibility is often perfect, sometimes reaching more than 30 meters. The water temperature stays warm, making it comfortable to explore year-round. Whether you are a beginner or an expert, every dive feels like entering a different planet. But Sanganeb is not just about diving. It is also about silence, isolation, and pure nature. There are no luxury resorts here, no crowded beaches, no loud boats, just the sound of waves, the cry of seabirds, an endless ocean stretching in every direction. Standing on the tiny island, you feel small, humbled by the vastness of nature. Scientists and marine biologists visit Sanganeb to study coral reefs and marine life because it represents what oceans looked like before pollution and climate change. It is a rare window into a pristine underwater world that many places have already lost. As the sun sets, the sky turns orange and pink, reflecting on the calm sea. The lighthouse casts a long shadow across the water, and the coral atoll becomes a dark ring in the glowing ocean. It feels mysterious, magical, and timeless. Sanganeb National Park is a reminder that Sudan is not just deserts and ancient ruins. It is also home to one of the world's most beautiful marine treasures, hidden beneath the waves and waiting for those who seek true adventure. If you ever dreamed of exploring a secret underwater kingdom, Sanganeb is where that dream becomes real. Imagine walking through a ghost city where coral stone palaces rise from the sea, where wooden balconies hang over turquoise water, and where history whispers from every wall. The streets are quiet, but centuries ago, this place was one of the richest and most powerful ports in the Red Sea. This is Suakin Island, Sudan's forgotten jewel of the sea. Suakin sits just off the Sudanese coast, connected to the mainland by a short causeway. From a distance, it looks like a scene from a fairy tale. White coral stone buildings, arched doorways, and carved wooden balconies reflect in the calm water. But when you step closer, you realize this is not just beautiful. It is mysterious, ancient, and full of stories. For hundreds of years, Suakin was one of the most important trading ports in Africa and the Middle East. Merchants from Arabia, India, Egypt, and East Africa arrived here with ships full of spices, gold, silk, and ivory. Pilgrims passed through Suakin on their journey to Mecca. Empires fought to control it. Wealth flowed through its streets. The city was built using coral stone taken from the Red Sea. The architecture is unique, blending African, Arab, and Ottoman styles. Tall houses with wooden mashrabia balconies line narrow streets. Palaces, mosques, and merchant homes once stood here in grandeur. Some buildings still stand, while others have collapsed, slowly returning to the sea. Walking through Suakin today feels like stepping into another century. There are no crowds, no modern skyscrapers, no loud traffic, just the sound of waves, birds, and the wind moving through broken windows. Boats float quietly in the harbor, and fishermen pass by in small wooden vessels, continuing traditions that are hundreds of years old. One of the most striking sights is the old Ottoman governor's palace. Its arches and courtyards tell stories of power and politics. Nearby, historic mosques still stand, their minarets pointing toward the sky. Every corner of the island feels cinematic, like a historical movie set frozen in time. Suakin also has a spiritual side. For many pilgrims, it was a gateway to the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. Travelers from across Africa gathered here before crossing the Red Sea. The island became a meeting point of cultures, languages, and religions, shaping the identity of the region. In recent years, there have been plans to restore Suakin and bring back its former beauty. Archaeologists and historians see it as a treasure of Islamic and African architecture. Tourists who visit are often stunned by how little known and untouched it is compared to other historic coastal cities. As the sun sets, Suakin becomes even more magical. The sky turns golden, and the coral buildings glow softly in the fading light. Reflections shimmer on the water, and the island feels like a floating city between past and present. At night, stars fill the sky, and the ruins stand silently, guarding their secrets. Suakin is not just a place. It is a memory carved in stone and sea. It is a reminder that Sudan once stood at the center of global trade and culture, connecting continents and civilizations. If you are looking for a destination that feels untouched, mysterious, and deeply historical, Suakin Island is a hidden wonder waiting to be rediscovered. Picture a vast African wilderness where lions roam freely, antelopes race across golden plains, and rivers cut through endless savanna. This is not Kenya or Tanzania. This is Sudan, home to one of Africa's most underrated wildlife sanctuaries. Welcome to Dinder National Park, a hidden paradise for nature lovers and adventure seekers. Dinder National Park lies in southeastern Sudan, near the Ethiopian border. It is one of the country's oldest protected areas, covering thousands of square kilometers of grasslands, woodlands, and wetlands. This park is part of the greater savanna ecosystem that stretches across East Africa, making it a crucial refuge for wildlife. As you enter Dinder, the landscape feels endless. Tall grasses sway in the wind, acacia trees dot the horizon, and seasonal rivers create lush green pockets called mayas. These wetlands become lifelines for animals during the dry season, attracting wildlife from miles away. The park is home to an incredible variety of animals. Lions, leopards, and cheetahs move silently through the grass. Herds of buffalo, giraffes, and antelopes roam the plains. Elephants once dominated this region, and efforts are ongoing to protect and restore their habitats. Hyenas, jackals, and wild dogs add to the dramatic ecosystem, making every moment in Dinder feel like a scene from a wildlife documentary. Bird watches consider Dinder a dream destination. Hundreds of bird species live here, including storks, pelicans, eagles, and colorful kingfishers. During migration seasons, the skies fill with birds traveling between Europe, Asia, and Africa. The wetlands shimmer with life, reflecting birds flying low over the water. Dinder is not just about animals. It is also a place of silence and raw beauty. Unlike crowded safari parks, Dinder remains largely untouched by mass tourism. There are no busy roads filled with safari vehicles. Instead, you experience nature in its purest form, where every sound matters and every movement feels significant. Local communities live near the park and have coexisted with wildlife for generations. They know the rhythms of the land, the seasons, and the animals. Their traditional knowledge plays a key role in conservation efforts. Protecting Dinder is not just about saving animals, but also about preserving a way of life deeply connected to nature. The changing seasons transform the park dramatically. During the rainy season, the land turns green, rivers flow, and animals spread across the plains. In the dry season, the landscape becomes golden and dramatic, and wildlife gathers near water sources, creating unforgettable viewing opportunities. Sunrise and sunset in Dinder are breathtaking. The sky explodes with colors, painting the savanna in shades of orange, pink, and purple. Silhouettes of trees and animals stand against the glowing horizon, creating a scene that feels timeless and cinematic. Dinder National Park is a reminder that Sudan is more than deserts and ancient ruins. It is also a land of wildlife, wilderness, and untouched beauty. For travelers seeking an authentic African safari experience without the crowds, Dinder is a hidden gem waiting to be explored. Here, nature still rules. The land breathes freely, animals move as they always have, and the wild remains truly wild. Imagine a sacred mountain rising from the desert, crowned with ancient temples and pyramids, once believed to be the home of gods and kings. For thousands of years, people traveled here to worship, rule, and seek power. This is Jebel Barkal, one of the most spiritual and historically powerful places in all of Sudan. Jebel Barkal is a striking sandstone mountain located near the ancient city of Napata along the Nile River in northern Sudan. From a distance, it looks like a natural fortress rising from the desert sands. But for the ancient Nubians and Egyptians, this was far more than a mountain. It was a sacred place, believed to be the dwelling of the god Amun. Around the base of Jebel Barkal lie the ruins of temples, palaces, and pyramids that once formed the heart of the kingdom of Kush. This was a powerful African civilization that rivaled ancient Egypt. The Kushite kings ruled vast territories and even conquered Egypt, becoming the famous 25th dynasty of pharaohs. One of the most impressive structures here is the Temple of Amun. Massive stone walls, columns, and carvings tell stories of gods, kings, and rituals. Hieroglyphs and reliefs show Kushite rulers presenting offerings to the gods, proving how deeply religion shaped their lives and power. Nearby, you will find royal palaces where kings and queens once lived. These were centers of politics, culture, and strategy. The Kushite rulers controlled trade routes, gold mines, and armies, making them one of the richest and most influential powers in ancient Africa. The pyramids near Jebel Barkal are smaller than those in Egypt, but just as fascinating. These steep, slender pyramids served as tombs for Kushite royalty. Inside, archaeologists discovered treasures, inscriptions, and artwork that reveal the unique identity of Nubian culture, separate yet connected to Egypt. What makes Jebel Barkal truly magical is its spiritual atmosphere. Ancient people believed the mountain itself was sacred. Its unique rock formation looks like a giant natural pillar, and many thought it represented a symbol of divine power. Pilgrims and priests came here for ceremonies, prayers, and royal coronations. Today, walking through Jebel Barkal feels like stepping into a forgotten chapter of history. The desert is silent, the ruins stand tall, and the mountain watches over everything like it has for thousands of years. You can climb to the top and see the Nile winding through the desert, with palm trees and villages scattered along its banks. As the sun sets, the sandstone mountain turns deep orange and red. Shadows stretch across the ruins, and the pyramids glow under the fading light. It is one of the most cinematic landscapes in Africa, perfect for travelers, historians, and filmmakers. Jebel Barkal is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its global importance. Yet, it remains one of the least visited ancient wonders in the world. While millions visit Egypt's pyramids, very few discover the Kushite pyramids and sacred temples of Sudan. This place reminds us that Africa's history is far richer and more complex than most people realize. Powerful kingdoms rose here, gods were worshipped, and kings ruled empires long before modern nations existed. Jebel Barkal is not just a ruin in the desert. It is a sacred mountain of kings, a spiritual center of ancient Africa, and one of the greatest hidden wonders of Sudan. Imagine stepping into a place where Africa's wilderness feels untouched, where rivers carve through golden savannas and herds of elephants, lions, and antelopes roam freely under endless skies. This is Dinder National Park, Sudan's hidden gem of wildlife, a sanctuary where nature thrives beyond the reach of crowds and modern chaos. Located in southeastern Sudan near the Ethiopian border, Dinder National Park covers thousands of square kilometers of savanna, wetlands, and forests. It is part of one of Africa's most important ecosystems, a bridge between the grasslands of East Africa and the Nile's fertile valleys. For wildlife lovers, it is a living treasure that has preserved species often lost elsewhere on the continent. The park is alive with movement and sound. During early mornings, the air is filled with birdsong and the rustle of leaves as antelopes graze quietly. Hippos emerge from rivers at dawn, while crocodiles bask along the banks. Lions roar in the distance, asserting their dominance over the plains. Every day in Dinder is a cinematic display of survival, power, and harmony in the wild. One of the most remarkable aspects of Dinder is its biodiversity. The park hosts hundreds of species of mammals, birds, and reptiles. Elephants roam the open plains in small herds, their massive forms moving with surprising grace. Giraffes stretch their necks to feed on acacia trees, and leopards slink through shadows, rarely seen but always present. This ecosystem functions as it has for centuries, a living reminder of Africa's natural abundance. The wetlands, called mayas, are vital to the park's life. Seasonal rivers flood the plains, creating lush green pockets where animals gather to drink, feed, and breed. These waterways attract flocks of migratory birds, filling the sky with vivid colors and sounds. Storks, pelicans, herons, and kingfishers dominate the riverside, creating a spectacle for birdwatchers and photographers alike. Visitors to Dinder experience nature in its purest form. There are no bustling safari vehicles, no artificial feeding programs, and no fenced-in enclosures. Animals move freely across the plains, following instincts honed over millennia. This is a safari without barriers, where the wild feels infinite and unbroken. The park's landscape is constantly changing with the seasons. During the rainy months, the savanna becomes a vibrant green carpet, rivers swell, and animals spread across the vast plains. In the dry season, golden grasses dominate, water becomes scarce, and wildlife congregates near rivers and ponds, creating opportunities to observe predator-prey interactions in dramatic cinematic moments. Dinder is also a place of silence and reflection. Away from urban noise, visitors can hear the whispers of the wind across tall grasses, the distant roar of a lion, or the subtle movements of a grazing herd. Standing here, you feel the scale of the African wilderness, the depth of its history, and the resilience of life in challenging environments. Local communities live around the park and maintain a delicate balance with nature. They have coexisted with wildlife for generations, relying on traditional knowledge to avoid conflicts and protect resources. Their presence demonstrates how humans and wildlife can coexist in harmony when respect for nature guides daily life. Sunrise and sunset in Dinder are unforgettable. At dawn, the plains glow with golden light as mist rises from the rivers. At dusk, Silhouettes of acacia trees and roaming animals are painted against fiery skies, creating images that feel both eternal and ephemeral. Every moment feels like standing in a living painting. Dinder National Park is more than a destination. It is a reminder that Sudan holds some of Africa's most untouched wilderness, where life thrives in its natural rhythm and where adventure feels raw and authentic. For travelers seeking solitude, wildlife, and a connection with the natural world, Dinder offers experiences few places on Earth can match. As you leave the park, the sounds fade, the plains stretch endlessly behind you, and the rivers continue their journey toward the Nile. Dinder remains, timeless and magnificent, a testament to the enduring power of Africa's wild landscapes, waiting for those who dare to explore its secrets. What if a single country could tell the story of ancient kingdoms, endless deserts, lush rivers, and hidden wildlife all at once? Sudan is that place, a land of contrasts, mystery, and wonders few have truly explored. From the blue and white Nile converging in Khartoum to the pyramids of Meroë, from sacred mountains to untouched deserts and coral reefs, Sudan is a journey through time, nature, and culture. As you travel across Sudan, the first thing you notice is its diversity. In the north, the Sahara dominates the horizon, a landscape of golden dunes and volcanic plains that feels eternal. The Bayuda Desert stretches endlessly, its blackened volcanic rocks and rippling sand shaped by millennia of wind. Here, the silence is powerful. You can almost hear the echoes of ancient caravans that cross these lands, carrying gold, spices, and stories between empires. In contrast, the Nile River courses through the heart of the country, bringing life, fertility, and civilization. At Khartoum, the blue and white Nile meet, merging waters that have nourished Africa for thousands of years. Along the riverbanks, villages thrive, children play, and markets bustle with the colors and scents of traditional life. The Nile is Sudan's lifeline, connecting deserts, forests, and savannahs, carrying the legacy of ancient kingdoms into the present. Sudan's history is written in stone.
The Nubian pyramids of Meroë rise from the desert like silent sentinels, steep and mysterious. Unlike Egypt's grand monuments, these pyramids are smaller but no less fascinating, marking the tombs of kings and queens of the Kushite Empire. Walking among them, you feel the weight of a civilization that influenced Egypt, built monumental temples, and created art that survives to this day. Sacred sites like Jebel Barkal tell another story, a story of faith, power, and divine kingship. This sandstone mountain and its surrounding temples were considered holy for thousands of years. Kushite kings sought the blessings of the gods here, and rituals shaped the kingdom's identity. Standing beneath its towering cliffs, you feel connected to something far greater than yourself, a history etched in stone and sand. Life in Sudan is not only found in ancient ruins or deserts. Along the Red Sea, coral stone cities like Suakin reveal the country's maritime history. Once a bustling port connecting Africa to Arabia and beyond, Suakin's empty streets now echo with centuries of trade, pilgrimage, and forgotten stories. The Red Sea reefs nearby, including Sanganeb and other marine parks, are vibrant, untouched ecosystems teeming with fish, turtles, and coral life. Here, the desert meets the sea in a spectacular fusion of ecosystems. Sudan's natural beauty continues inland. The Nuba Mountains rise dramatically from surrounding plains, home to tribal communities with centuries-old traditions.
Colorful rituals and breathtaking landscapes. Southeastern Sudan hosts Dinder National Park, a sanctuary for lions, elephants, giraffes, and migratory birds. In this wilderness, the rhythm of life follows the land and seasons, untouched by modern pressures, a reminder that the planet's wild places still exist. Traveling through Sudan is an exercise in contrasts. You move from scorching deserts to lush riverbanks, from ancient pyramids to coral reefs, from silent mountains to vibrant markets. Every region tells a different story, yet all are connected by history, culture, and the resilience of people who have thrived here for millennia. Sudan's culture is equally rich. Hospitality is at the heart of everyday life. In villages along the Nile, visitors are welcomed with tea, laughter, and stories. Traditional music and dance continue in small towns, while artisans craft pottery, jewelry, and textiles using techniques passed down for generations. The past is alive here, not only in ruins but in the people themselves. As the sun sets across Sudan, the landscapes transform. The deserts glow orange and red. The Nile reflects the golden sky. Mountains cast long shadows, and wildlife moves quietly in the fading light. The country becomes a living painting, each scene more dramatic than the last. At night, the stars appear brighter than anywhere else, illuminating the vastness of the land and sky, reminding you how ancient and timeless this place truly is. Sudan is not just a destination. It is a journey through human history and natural wonder. Its ancient kingdoms, sacred mountains, vast deserts, thriving wildlife, and hidden coral reefs combine into one of the world's most remarkable and underexplored countries. Visiting Sudan is more than sightseeing. It is an exploration of time itself, a chance to witness history, nature, and culture in its purest forms. And as you leave, carrying memories of pyramids rising from golden sand, rivers flowing endlessly, mountains standing tall, and reefs teeming with life, you realize this: Sudan is a land of secrets, wonders, and stories waiting to be discovered. It is a place where the past meets the present, where nature reigns, and where every corner invites adventure. Sudan is not just a country on a map, it is an experience, a journey into the heart of Africa, and one of the world's last great travel mysteries, waiting for those brave enough to explore it. Imagine a land where every horizon tells a story, where deserts stretch endlessly, yet rivers bring life to thriving civilizations. Sudan is that land, a country of astonishing diversity, where history, culture, and nature collide in ways few travelers have ever witnessed. From ancient pyramids to pristine coral reefs, Sudan is a journey into the heart of Africa, a place that feels timeless, yet alive with discovery. As you move north from Khartoum along the Nile, the landscape shifts dramatically. Fertile riverbanks give way to open plains, dotted with villages, palm trees, and small farms that have existed for centuries. Along this corridor, life depends on the river, which has supported humanity here since the dawn of civilization. Farmers still plant crops in the floodplains, using techniques handed down for generations. Children play along the water's edge, while fishermen cast their nets into the slowly moving river, continuing rhythms unchanged by modernity. Beyond the river, the deserts reclaim the land. The Bayuda and Nubian deserts dominate the horizon with sand, rock, and volcanic formations. The heat shimmers across the plains, and the wind sculpts dunes in patterns that feel eternal. In these deserts, you can almost hear the whispers of ancient caravans that cross this land, carrying gold, salt, and knowledge between kingdoms. Nomadic tribes continue to move across these lands, preserving traditions that stretch back thousands of years. Sudan's history is written not only in sand but in stone. The pyramids of Meroë rise from the desert like silent sentinels, steep and sharp, guarding the legacy of the Kushite kingdom. Inside their tombs, archaeologists have found treasures, inscriptions, and artifacts that tell of rulers who once held power over vast lands. Unlike the more famous Egyptian pyramids, these are hidden gems of African history, lesser known but equally impressive, reminding travelers that Africa's civilizations were rich and complex long before European influence. Near the Nile, Jebel Barkal stands like a natural fortress. This sacred mountain and the surrounding temples reveal a culture where geography and spirituality intertwined. Kushite kings performed ceremonies here, believing the mountain itself held divine power. The pyramids, temples, and palaces around Jebel Barkal show that this was more than a religious center. It was the political and spiritual heart of a mighty kingdom. Standing here, you feel the weight of centuries and the presence of a people who revered nature as sacred. Moving eastward, Sudan's coastline along the Red Sea offers a completely different world. Coral reefs, clear waters, and pristine islands await those who venture beyond the shore. Sanganeb and other marine parks protect thriving ecosystems, home to turtles, colorful fish, and sharks. These underwater landscapes are some of the most untouched in the world. Nearby, Suakin Island holds the ruins of an ancient port city built with coral stone architecture, once a hub for trade and pilgrims traveling to Mecca. The combination of desert, sea, and history creates a surreal landscape that feels almost unreal. Sudan is also a land of mountains and wildlife. The Nuba Mountains rise dramatically from the plains, home to tribes with ancient customs, art, and ceremonies that remain largely unchanged. In southeastern Sudan, Dinder National Park provides a sanctuary for elephants, lions, giraffes, and hundreds of bird species. Here, the wild feels untouched, raw, and authentic, a reminder that Africa's wilderness is still alive in remote corners of the continent. Every corner of Sudan tells a story. The streets of Khartoum hum with modern life, while the pyramids of Meroë stand in silent desert majesty. The sacred temples of Jebel Barkal connect the present with millennia of spiritual tradition. Coastal reefs shimmer in untouched beauty, and wildlife roams freely in national parks. Sudan is not just a collection of destinations. It is a journey across time, a living museum of civilization, and a natural wonderland all at once. Traveling here is to experience contrasts: desert and river, ancient and modern, solitude and life. The sun sets in breathtaking colors over the sands and river, painting landscapes that feel cinematic and eternal. At night, the stars shine brighter than anywhere else, illuminating a land that has seen the rise and fall of empires, the rhythms of nature, and the resilience of its people. Sudan's stories are waiting to be discovered, from hidden pyramids to sacred mountains, from coral reefs to wild savannahs. It is a place where history is tangible, where nature remains largely untouched, and where every traveler feels the thrill of discovery. Visiting Sudan is more than sightseeing. It is stepping into a world that is still largely unexplored, a country where the past and present coexist in breathtaking harmony. And as you stand on a desert ridge, or watch the Nile curve into the horizon, you realize that Sudan is not just a country on the map. It is a land of wonders, waiting to reveal its secrets and promising experiences that few places on earth can match. Here, every journey is epic, every sight extraordinary, and every memory unforgettable. What if a single country could capture the essence of Africa's deserts, rivers, mountains, and wildlife all in one journey? Sudan is that country, a land of astonishing contrasts and hidden wonders, where every horizon tells a story and every landscape is a chapter of history waiting to be explored. From the flowing Nile to the silent pyramids, from sacred mountains to pristine coral reefs, Sudan invites travelers into a world both ancient and alive. As you leave the bustling streets of Khartoum behind, the Nile guides your journey. Its waters have nurtured civilizations for millennia, carrying stories of kings, traders, and farmers along its banks. Here, life is intertwined with the river. Children play along the shores, fishermen cast their nets, and lush fields stretch for miles, fed by the lifeblood of the Nile. The river connects the desert and savanna, bridging the past with the present and shaping a culture deeply rooted in its flow. Traveling north, the deserts unfold in all their raw beauty. The Bayuda Desert presents a landscape of black volcanic rocks and shifting sand dunes, sculpted by centuries of wind. In this vast wilderness, silence dominates. Nomadic tribes still traverse these lands, following paths carved by generations, while the sun casts dramatic shadows over rocks and dunes. Here, you realize how vast, timeless, and untamed Sudan truly is. Hidden among these deserts are ancient pyramids at Meroë, rising steeply from golden sands. Unlike the iconic Egyptian pyramids, these Kushite tombs are smaller, sharper, and densely clustered, a testament to a civilization that thrived independently for centuries. Inside, archaeologists have uncovered treasures, inscriptions, and artifacts that reveal the lives of kings and queens who once ruled vast territories. Meroë is not just a historic site. It is a gateway into Africa's lost empires. Sacred landscapes like Jebel Barkal further reveal the spiritual depth of Sudan. This sandstone mountain, surrounded by temples and pyramids, was once believed to house the god Amun. Kushite kings performed rituals here, connecting their rule to divine authority. Walking among these ruins, you feel the presence of a culture that revered nature as sacred, a civilization where mountains, rivers, and temples were intertwined with human destiny. Eastward, the Red Sea coastline offers a completely different world. Suakin Island stands as a silent monument to Sudan's maritime history, with coral stone buildings and carved wooden balconies reflecting centuries of trade with Arabia, India, and Africa. Nearby, Sanganeb National Park and its coral reefs reveal a vibrant underwater ecosystem teeming with life. Colorful fish, sea turtles, and reef sharks thrive here, largely untouched by modern tourism. The combination of desert, sea, and history creates landscapes that feel cinematic, almost surreal. Further south and east, Sudan's mountains and wildlife await. The Nuba Mountains rise dramatically from surrounding plains, home to communities whose traditions, rituals, and art have remained unchanged for centuries. Southeastern Sudan hosts Dinder National Park, a sanctuary for elephants, lions, giraffes, and hundreds of bird species. Here, the rhythm of life follows the land and seasons, offering a glimpse of Africa's untamed wilderness at its purest. Sudan's cultural richness matches its natural diversity. In villages along the Nile and across desert oases, hospitality is central to daily life. Traditional music, dance, and crafts connect modern Sudanese to a heritage spanning thousands of years. From intricate jewelry to hand-woven fabrics, every artifact tells a story of resilience, creativity, and connection to the land. Traveling through Sudan is a journey of contrasts. Golden deserts give way to lush riverbanks, sacred mountains rise above flat plains, and ancient ruins echo with the voices of long-gone civilizations. At sunset, the landscapes transform. The sand glows orange, the Nile mirrors the fiery sky, and the mountains cast long, dramatic shadows. By night, the Milky Way stretches across the heavens, illuminating a country that has seen the rise and fall of empires, yet remains timeless. Sudan is more than a destination. It is an experience. It is where history, culture, and nature converge, offering adventures few places on Earth can match. From the deserts to the coral reefs, from pyramids to wildlife sanctuaries, every corner reveals a hidden wonder. Travelers leave not only with memories, but with a profound sense of discovery, as if they have glimpsed a world largely untouched by time. And as you watch the Nile winding through desert and savanna, as you stand on a ridge overlooking endless plains, and as you dive into coral-rich waters, you realize the truth. Sudan is a land of secrets, wonders, and stories waiting to be discovered. It is a journey into Africa's heart, where every step feels historic, every view feels eternal, and every moment leaves a lasting impression. Sudan is more than a destination. It is a journey through time, nature, and human history. From the ancient pyramids of Meroë to the sacred cliffs of Jebel Barkal, from the wild plains of Dinder to the sparkling coral reefs of the Red Sea, every corner tells a story of resilience, beauty, and wonder. As the sun sets over the desert and the Nile glimmers beneath a sky full of stars, you realize that Sudan is a land that challenges, amazes, and inspires. This is a place where history lives, nature thrives, and adventure awaits at every turn. Thank you for traveling with us. Sudan's secrets are waiting for you to discover them. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed exploring Prague as much as I enjoyed guiding you through it. If you found this travel guide helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more beautiful destinations from around the world. Got a favorite spot in Prague? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and see you in the next video.